Hi folks, before I start this episode of First Cup, I just wanted to tell you that this episode number 40, is dedicated to my late father, who died October 13th, 2001. Dad, this episode is for you. Hi friends, before I start this episode of First Cup, I want to help you with your Christmas gift shopping plans. Do you have someone special on your list who is hard to shop for? Or are they interested in unique one-of-a-kind gifts? Then Wishing Stars Native Creations is your answer. My dear friend Chris Mayer has been making Native American jewelry for several years and is ready to help you give that special someone in your life a one-of-a-kind gift. Just go to www.facebook.com/Wishing Stars Native Creations. That's facebook.com/Wishing Stars Native Creations. It's all one word. Wishing Stars Native Creations. Go there today and find out how Chris can help you. She accepts several forms of payment, including money orders and PayPal.
Nobody can afford to start the day with their panties in a bunch, especially not a stunt woman.
And you, sir, are you waiting to receive my limp penis?
Well, have you heard about this in the news? Seems that the U.S. Post Office was forced to destroy the entire run of Michelle Obama's Let's Move stamps because 3 of them showed kids doing unsafe activities, diving a cannonball, skateboarding without knee pads, and doing a headstand without a helmet. They'll now be replaced by a new stamp series called Let's Sit Around and Get Fat. Good morning, my friends. I'm Joe Haffner. Today is Friday, October 11th, 2013, and you know what that means. It's time for your first cup.
Good morning, USA. I got a feeling that it's gonna be a wonderful day. The sun in the sky has a smile on his face, and he's shining a salute to the American race. Oh boy, it's swell to say, good morning, USA.
And with that, we're here in the show once again. I always forget that's a short intro, just 30 seconds. Welcome to a Friday edition of First Cup. Yours truly, Joe Haffner, here at the controls and slowly waking up. And, last night work kicked my ass. I can't reveal what we did last night. Nothing sinister, but I tell you, after being off for 3 days and you're on your feet all night long, you're ready to get your ass to bed. But I'm glad to be back with you on this Friday edition of First Cup. And before I get into the heart of today's program, a few household items to take care of first. First of all, you can email me with your comments, suggestions, likes, dislikes about this program, including Song of the Day suggestions. You can send those to Gunther'sHouseOfFriends@gmail.com. That's Gunther'sHouseOfFriends@gmail.com. Don't worry, Gunther's is not there's no apostrophe in that. It's just Gunther'sHouseOfFriends@gmail.com. Or drop me a message on my new Skype account at G800-486-8437. That's the letter G, 800-486-8437. And if you have trouble remembering that, an easy way to remember it is G800-GUNTHER. Just get your old phone out, like your old landline phone, or if you're still using a landline phone, a few of us still are, or get your cell phone out, spell out Gunther, and it comes up to G800-486-8437. I did that on purpose. And you can follow me on Twitter at JHaffner99, as Governor Rick Perry would say. Follow me on Twitter at JHaffner99. That's HAFFNER 99. J Haffner, the letter J, Haffner 99. And you can also check out my website. The shortcut link a little bit longer than the actual address, but an easy way to remember it is tinyurl.com/Gunther's House. tinyurl.com/Gunther's House. That's good on your PC, your Mac, your Linux, or tablet computer, or on your smartphone at tinyurl.com/Gunther Mobile. It's good on your Android, iOS, or Windows Phone. Plus, you can listen to previous episodes of First Cup by downloading the Stitcher app. Look for the Stitcher app on the opening page of my website. It's down toward the bottom of the opening page. Or go to the Stitcher main site and look up Gunther's House of Friends. Or you can also download the Spreaker app and look up Gunther's House of Friends there. That's Speaker with an R after the P, Spreaker.com. Spreaker, be heard. Okay? All right. Well, let's see. Before I get into day number 11 of the federal government shutdown, as I said at the start of the program, this episode is dedicated to my late father's memory. My dad had a long bout with cancer back in the early 80s. He was diagnosed in the summer of 1980, roughly around the time of 4th of July. The reason why I'm emphasizing this is for posterity. At some point, should I be fortunate enough to have a family of my own, I want them to be able to definitively listen to what I have to say and have documented proof of sorts, even though this is an audio form of proof, and to talk about my dad's life. And anyway, getting back to my dad's story, he had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma back in the early 80s, and roughly by Christmas time 1983, he was mostly cancer-free and went into remission in the mid-80s, and stayed that way pretty well up until the late 90s. And he started having severe hip pains in the late 90s, and then by 2001, the symptoms of cancer were back stronger than ever, and cancer had returned to his lungs, and also was now in his brain. And for the last 6 months of his life were hell. I mean, I never saw anyone age so fast in so little time. And so, I know I talk about my dad a lot. I miss him. And so, part of keeping his memory alive is to relay his stories. And also, I've found that I'm more like him than unlike him. Now, that's not to say that I don't have my own personality. I mean, I've had my own personality pretty much since day one. You know, my dad hated science fiction. The stuff that I listen to that I call music, he largely couldn't stand. But, you know, that's just the way things are. So this episode is dedicated to my dad. And toward the end of the broadcast, right before the close, I'll have a special song of the day just for him, in addition to the regular song of the day, okay? And I'll have more details on that as we get toward the end of today's show, okay? Now, if I seem a little winded, it's because I've been running around here this morning, getting this thing ready, getting my notes together. Then I ran over to Taco Bell to get some lunch, which I think was a mistake. But nevertheless, I might be fighting a little bit of indigestion. Got back in here, got my drinks set up, and raring to go, okay? Well, it looks like we're in day number 11 of this federal government shutdown, and a little bit of progress seems to have been made overnight. We're still in the shutdown, but I have since learned that there's been a little bit of progress in D.C. Legislators are finally getting a little more serious about negotiating. At least they're dropping the sound bites, because I think they're even getting tired of their own voice. Well, after a meeting yesterday afternoon between the Republican House leadership and the President at the White House, both sides say serious negotiations are now underway. However, no decision has been made as of last night. Both sides did agree that discussions and progress are continuing. So at least they're in the same room. And considering what we've been going through for the last several days and weeks, this is progress. This is progress. But, they've gone around and around for an hour or so, getting nowhere. Then came a sudden change that could help break the political impasse. causing the government shutdown and the looming threat of a further crisis when the nation bumps up against its self-imposed borrowing limit. Now, CNN reported that an exchange between GOP Representative Paul Ryan and President Barack Obama seemed to clear the air a little bit, with both sides acknowledging the validity of the other. So that is a positive. Ryan, the Republican chairman of the House Budget Committee, conceded his side wouldn't get it all it wanted, while the president said, "Tell me what you need to make something happen." Well, seems that Ryan said something to the effect of, "Look, we know you don't like our position. We know you probably don't respect our position, but we're the Republican majority. You're stuck with us for a while, at least through the next election season, which is November 2014. So we need to learn to have a conversation with each other." Meanwhile, Senator Ted Cruz took on hecklers during the government shutdown, signs of progress. Jack Lew is also speaking his mind. Well, seems that both the Democrats and Republicans say the tone of the meeting changed a little bit yesterday. The president said, "I'm not going to negotiate with you until you reopen the government, but go to your members, find out what you need to do to get that part done, and let's try to make some progress." So the president is taking the charge and doing what needs to be done. He's not backing down, but he's willing to negotiate. This is the President Obama I like. This is the President Obama that I support. Okay? Well, Republican Representative Steve Sutherland of Florida essentially confirmed the account last night to CNN News. Paul and the President certainly have a pass-through to the last election, and I think there's a great respect between them, and you can't make that up, Sutherland said, adding that the communication between Paul and the President, I think, was an important part of the conversation, and something that's been long overdue. It should never have gotten this far out of hand, but, that's 2020 hindsight. Well, the meeting appeared to begin breaking the partisan logjam that has kept parts of the government shut down for 11 days, leaving hundreds of thousands of federal employees without work and causing countless ripple effects from lost tourism revenue around national parks to a threat to the Alaskan crab fishing season. Well, Pete Sessions, a Texas Republican congressman, said we're all working together now after the meeting, while the White House Majority Leader Eric Cantor called the meeting very useful. Meanwhile, the Obama administration described the meeting as good, saying the president listened to Republican proposals, and the two sides discussed potential paths forward. The president is supposed to meet with the Senate Republicans this morning. In a video message to a conservative political summit today, Ryan warned the right-wing gathering that they can't get everything they want with Democrats while holding the White House and the majority of the Senate. This president won't agree to everything we need to do, Ryan said. A budget agreement with this president and the Senate won't solve our problems, but I hope it's a start. And now the question is, will the 2014 election solve anything? How about the beginnings of a deal? Well, after initially demanding changes to or elimination of the health care reform plan, Republicans have more recently focused on extending the debt ceiling for up to 6 weeks while negotiating on spending and other issues during a continued government shutdown. While the Democrats have insisted that the debt ceiling be raised and the government reopened before they would be willing to negotiate on other issues. The president has made it clear during his session with House Republicans that he won't give concessions to reopen the government. That's according to a Democratic source familiar with the meeting. But he has indicated willingness to consider a short-term debt deal. And if that's what House Speaker John Boehner needs to do to climb out of the tree that's he's stuck in, that's something we should look at, according to the lawmaker who attended the meeting and spoke on condition of not being identified. Now, Representative Hal Rogers, a Kentucky Republican, Said both sides